client who's an agent for state.
Welcome back, man. Another speed running podcasting booty call.
That's the hope.
Do more hard things every day is a great mantra, but it should be less about ice baths and more about making that decision you've been putting off for 3 months.
Yeah. I think that there's been a big misconception around hard stuff, which is just that like running a marathon necessarily means that you can have a hard conversation with your wife by saying like, oh, I do hard things. But those hard things don't necessarily generalize. And so I think domain specificity is much more narrow, unless you decide to generalize to an identity label of like, I am the type of person who can do hard things because I ran this marathon or because I do these ice baths. And then as a result, I can then generalize that label to other behaviors. But if you can make that label and identify with it, then you don't need to run the marathon in order to do the hard thing. You just need the label.
What are the hard things that people should be focusing on more? What are the step change function, hard thing capacity skills that people should focus on more?
I think it's being cognizant of what outside forces are influencing your behavior in a way that is aversive or against your goals. And so if you're like, I want to start a business, but I am afraid of what other people will say, then it means that we are allowing those other people to control your behavior. And I think when you say it in really plain terms like that, you're like, wow, I didn't know I was giving them that much power for my life. It's like, I am not doing this because of them, which means they control me. And to me, like the hard thing is in some ways just not allowing that control to persist or to keep going.
It is interesting how many people can do hard things physically, but can't do hard things decisively.
I have, our security team and whatnot, and this is a discussion that I've had with probably each of them at different times because they've seen combat and death and all that kind of stuff. And what's funny is that like the amount of risk that they are willing to put their physical bodies in, like literally their lives at stake, but then how that doesn't necessarily translate to being able to have a like, call it vulnerable conversation with a wife, spouse, lover, etc. It's just interesting. And this is again back to like, these things don't generalize. They look good, but they do not mean the same thing.
It's weird that we